I call this meeting to order of the Lincoln County Board of Education on Tuesday, May 27th. This is a statutory meeting in the public for the purpose of adopting the 2025-2026 budget and levy estimates. This meeting will be recorded, and the copy of the live stream of this meeting will be on the board's website within 5 working days. Before we get started, let's ask Mr. Cartwright if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright.
Now, a little special with kids when we finish.
All board members are
That
in
was so sweet.
attendance tonight. We have Ms. McComas, Vice President Mr. Cartwright, Mr. Mostetler, Ms. Butchie Burns, and myself. And at this time, we'll have a presentation report from our CFO, Mr. Austin Lucas.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening, Austin.
So I'm going to talk here briefly about the FY26 budget. It's been on the website, and a copy of it's been out front for about a couple weeks now, 10, 12 days. I emailed it out previously. Hopefully you've had a chance to take a quick look at it. At any point, stop me, ask questions if you have them. I'm going to hit some high points and try not to keep you all night. So I got the PDF packet that you got in front of you. There's a budget message in there. It says the superintendent recommends a comprehensive budget for FY26. The budget attempts to represent a conscious assessment of needs within the constraints of the revenue approved. Budgets are at best statements of priorities, displaying funds by program and function. Allows the board, the community, and staff to understand how the system spends educational dollars. So I'll just start kind of in order there. General fund revenue is down about $1.2 million. That's primarily directly related to student loss. We are down roughly about 140 kids compared to last budget season,
We've lost 140, Austin.
roughly, which equates to about $1 million.
Okay.
We have a beginning assigned fund balance of roughly $3.8 million. The majority of this money is used to fund our overstaff formula positions within the budget. So a good way to think of that is if we maxed out every single budget line item, fund balance would essentially be gone. But we manage the budget and come in, under budget in certain areas and things like that throughout the year. So it typically will, stay there. So that's the number that we need to monitor and make sure that we're not dipping into, because we need to keep, a healthy fund balance in case we need to build a new school or replace a roof or do anything like that that's very expensive. Levy estimates, revenue, so we're budgeting about $500,000 more than we did in the previous year. That's due to a higher property valuation in the county, and this past year we received more tax revenue. We are receiving currently on pace to receive more than we budgeted for in the current year.
How much
Some of that,
do we know what we're receiving?
I'll have a packet together with financials up through March,
Okay.
maybe April at the next meeting, so you'll be able to see
Okay.
where we're at year to date. But it is more. I don't know. I believe that's pretty much directly related to some of the tax issues and back billings and things that we've talked about previously. We're seeing some of that money come in.
The whole deal with the assessor.
Property assessments and things like that, yeah. Budgeted state aid formula, we're receiving about $750,000 less than last year. Again, that's due to this declining student population. Special Revenue Fund, Fund 61, we're budgeting about $7 million. So this will increase over the course of the year as we get new grants for various things. This money particularly that we budget for is pretty much what we know we're going to receive, and you'll see the amounts for the different projects and programs. They're below that. Title I, Special Ed, Title II, all those. Child nutrition, budget for child nutrition's up about 300,000. So if you turn
How
the
why would
page,
that be,
what's that?
that it's up that much?
Just spending more on food, and our revenue counts are higher, so we're gonna receive more,
More
but we're
money
also
that way?
spending more, yeah.
Okay.
But I think we're working on some stuff in food service to try to do some things that will affect that revenue and make it average out, balance out a little bit more. Right now, we currently have a county contribution, a couple $100,000.
Do we have any problems in the kitchens? We're gonna have to replace any equipment or anything?
I don't think so. I think we're in pretty good shape.
Okay.
And we're pretty tight on staffing in the kitchens too. We're
Yeah.
not overstaffed. We're
I think Ms. Atkins has
pretty
done a
much
very good
right
job
where
of
we need
keeping
to be.
on top of,
Yeah,
the any kind of equipment issues that we might have. And
yeah.
Yep.
It could go out fast, 'cause I'll tell you, I remember those days.
She hit the ground running, and so far has done a pretty good job.
Good.
So you got so on the first page of the actual revenue budget, expense budget, you'll see at the top, it's got project numbers. And it says unrestricted projects. Down below that, near the bottom of the page, it says Medicaid. So that's where you look to determine what the project or fund is that we're working with. So this first page is general fund revenue that we talked about before. So it's got tax revenue, state aid revenue, other things that are in state aid revenue are like retirement, PA, all those things that are funded.
Now, that first page that we have a lot on there, if we have something that blows up, in the kitchens or something, we have enough revenue put aside to
Yeah,
go back?
yeah.
Okay,
As long as it's not too bad, we're
Yeah.
in good shape, yeah.
okay.
Second page is local projects, so that's your levy funds, teacher levy, instructional levy, student activities, retirees, public library, 4-H, the budget for major improvements. I think we're gonna try to do some paving this year out of that major improvement money at various locations. After school, page 3's got some bus replacement money, JROTC. I will speak to the bus replacement funding there a little bit. That has drastically increased in the last 3, 4, 5 years, and I give Ms. Stone a lot of credit for that. She's done a great job with our fleet, getting rid of selling old buses and buying new buses and coming up with some creative ways to add some additional buses to the fleet, so.
Your whole amount of fund, if I can piggyback on what Austin's saying there, your funding there is based on your fleet value. So if it's kind of comes full circle. If you're running a better quality of fleet, including your maintenance trucks and your county vehicles, everything like that, then you get more money to subsidize that. So she's done a really good job at replacing things as needed and making sure that we have everything up to increase that fleet value.
Yep, that's correct. We're also having a little bit of an issue on our buses. We're ordering them, we're not receiving them. We've still got purchase orders open from 2024 purchases. So
And you
more
don't
than-
have the buses
More
yet?
than a year ago, and they're still not delivered, and we still haven't paid for them, and
I wonder why.
we haven't paid for 25 buses yet because we still haven't received them, so
Well, so why
there
are
may-
they so far behind in
I'm
replacing?
not sure. Just manufacturing, I guess. We may have to consider, changing the type of bus that we're running here, maybe with
Do
the
you buy
next.
the bus, all the buses from the same place?
There's different vendors. There's like Bluebird, Thomas, International, Freightliner, different styles, but there's something to think about. That'd be something Ms. Stone and Mr. Barnett can discuss, but we are having an issue getting the buses in.
That's statewide, that's not just.
Yeah.
Not just us?
No.
Yeah. So, let me see here, what page we're on. Your page number's in the top right corner, by the way. You're gonna go to page, so you go, it starts over when you get through revenue and expenses. So look at the top of your page, general fund expense budget should be after page 4 of the revenue budget. It starts over at 1, so about 5 or 6 pages in.
It starts over at 1, and what do we go to?
That's all your expenses.
Okay,
So that's regular instructional unrestricted projects. So that's got your teacher and principal wages, it's got your service staff, it's got subs, health insurance. So all the expenses are listed out in program function. So you might look at that top line and see that we're down $1 million in the proposed budget for instructional professional wages. Those are gonna be somewhere else in the budget. The majority of them are in special ed.
That 1,160,000?
Yeah, yeah. The majority of those are just in special ed, where we've had to add a bunch of special ed teachers and stuff. So in one place, you might see a reduction compared to the previous year, but you'll see an addition in another area. Our FTE is also over on the right-hand page, the right-hand side of the page. It says proposed FTE, and it compares it to 25 FTE. So I'm not gonna go through all this, line by line. I'll just tell you that our maintenance budget's up about 200,000. Our transportation budget is about right where it was. Fuel costs have went down quite a bit, so we're not budgeting a big increase in transportation. On page 13, you'll have the line item where it shows our capital lease expenditures. That is the financing arrangement for the Duval School and the athletic facility at the high school. And on page 14 is where it shows the increase in special education. So some of that's out of our control. The majority of that's out of our control. But our special education expenses are up about $1 million year to year.
But does the state sort of move that up as we get more kids in
Not
special ed?
quite, not quite. They're working on the state aid formula, I think, to address some of the special education needs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
some
some
of
of
the
the
things that
buses
come
we
up-
have to run are extra, some of the teachers'
You have to
aides
do-
in the
yeah,
classroom.
You have to do certain things.
Yes,
If
you
a
do.
kid needs a piece of equipment in the classroom and
Yeah.
it costs more for one piece of equipment than the revenue that you receive for that, we gotta make sure we provide it.
Yeah.
But, just a note there. And so feel free to just look through if you have any questions while I'm surfing here to find the next highlight. So on page 26, it'll show you proposed FTE versus last year's FTE. And this is just for the general fund. So we've got about 405 people, not people, positions, service staff. If they're more than 200 days, their FTE counts as more than one. So last year we had 413 in the general fund. This year we got 404. And I will tell you that we have, if you're thinking about, well, you might think how much is funded federally via grant. So we have, let me find it here and I'll show you. I'll tell you and I'll show you.
Now, when we have a special needs aid in the special ed full-time classroom, who funds that, us or the state?
Well, it'll be us
combination.
it'll be us if it extends beyond the amount we're funded from the state, yeah. It will
So
come out of local
the
funds.
state will do some of it, and then we'll have to do the excess.
If we have to add, if they fund us for X amount of positions at the beginning of the year, but we have to add 5 aides, we're paying
We're
for
paying
all
for
of that
that?
5 aides out of local dollars, yes. Same thing for professionals, same thing for
That's
teachers.
strange, though. I thought they would do more than that. Even the federal government would do
Yeah.
more than that. 'cause
No,
it's their
there's,
law.
there's no supplemental, but we get about $1 million for special education in a federal grant, and it's all spent primarily on staffing.
Mm-hmm.
We have approximately 59 positions
Is that teachers and aides?
funded by grants in the county. So we've got about 464 positions in the budget in our position inventory for next year. Roughly 400 of those is state aid revenue, local funds. The other 5960 is federal grants, state grants, things like that.
But 464, would that include teachers,
That's
aides?
everybody, that's everybody.
Everybody
That's
that's in-
superintendent,
okay.
treasurer,
Okay.
custodians, teachers, principals. So, I mean, overall, the budget, appear to be in real good shape. This year, so far, looks good. I'll have some updated expenditure reports at the next meeting for you on the current year. So, outside of that, I won't keep you. If you got any, next step is, for the board to approve it. If you don't have issues with it, and I'll submit it to the State Department. If they find issue with it, they'll send us a correction, and we'll make the correction and resubmit.
That number 61, over on page 1, it says that transfer from the general, I guess that means
Okay.
transfer from the general funds to
Yes,
that.
yes,
What
so-
does that pay for, Austin?
Which,
It's page 1 and it's number 61, and 61's at the, there's 2 of them.
okay, transfer from general.
Yeah,
So
transfer
we
from general.
transfer the professional staff development, and service staff development money
Okay.
out of the general fund into a special revenue fund to track it.
Okay.
Yep. Same thing for faculty senate, staff development.
I just had a few questions, and
Yep.
one of them you already discussed, that the property tax valuation's up, so it looks like we're gonna be receiving more money from that, that's a
Yep.
good thing. Back to that student nutrition, saying that it's up, and that's not a huge deal, but student population being down, that kinda makes me wonder what's going on. If the student population's down, why is
Is it just food costs
More
or?
people.
Well, another reason, so what happens with the food service budget is we get a template from the State Department, and it takes in, we plug in all the numbers from our meal counts and the price per meal for breakfast, lunch, all those things, and it budgets in a percentage of an increase, and that's required for us to submit that back to the State Department. So overall, it's gonna have a 6% increase on the actual expenses that we're budgeting for that we may not exceed.
Do you
They
think
just
that-
plug that number in, so if you're talking 6% on about 3 million, you can take that
but do
pretty
you
much
think
off
we're
there
having
if we,
more
if
kids
we
eat
don't have
free
increased
and reduced?
expenses.
We have more kids eating free and
Everybody's
reduced.
Everybody's
fully
free.
paid now,
Oh,
everybody's free, yeah.
now? Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't
which is
know
good,
that.
which is good for us.
Yes, I did not know that.
And in the past, we've had a higher when it says, you'll see on that note that it says that includes about a $300,000 county contribution. It's been higher in the past. We budgeted higher numbers than that in the past.
But we're okay on that.
Increased insurance cost, like, for example, PEIA,
Uh-huh.
10, 14%. So all the cooks, all the insurance, that would be, student count is less, but that would be an increased expense on the back end of that. I'd have to do a little further research to try to pinpoint it exactly, but those are a couple things that I can point out immediately is they make us budget a 6% increase across all line items, even if we don't intend to spend the extra 6%.
And I know last year we kind of looked into these numbers that I'm getting ready to ask about, because it was the first year of our little personnel attendance incentive.
Yep.
Is that still looking favorable for us?
Yes, it is. I haven't ran the numbers on this semester yet. I'll do it here in a couple weeks after we get everybody through the payroll period. The first 2 times we've paid it, it's been a net positive, the best that I can calculate it. So it appears that,
And we probably need to, as a board and you and Mr. Barnett, probably need to send some kind, after we find everything out, congratulating the staff on, you know,
Good
their,
attendance, yeah.
you know, their improvement in their attendance and that kind of thing.
I'll let-
I think that's the bonus. I think it's implied.
Well, I think it is implied, but we need to make some of these younger ones who maybe don't know, and they tend to be the ones who miss the most, aware of what that is.
We feel like overall it's effective though. and good
I think,
motivator.
I think it's
Yeah,
effective.
yeah, and I
Um,
think we probably ought to
it's-
say a little thank you about it too.
It's saving, and it's not costing us any additional money.
And that's good, and if we
So
can.
that was a good move. It appears that was a good move.
Well, more importantly than, I mean, it's obviously more important that it's not costing us money. We're netting a little bit of money, and it's also more important we have that certified person that's staying in the classroom.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
you
we
don't
have
have
the
subs.
people who are staying in the classroom, coming to school more, not missing those days, and we appreciate that as a board.
We should put that in the paper. Mr. Davis.
Some comments, any questions? Mr.
I'll just
Cartwright?
say that you emailed this to us last week. I appreciate that because
Yep.
I did have time to go through and it's
Yep.
easier to sit and do it on an iPad
Yeah.
than
It took a minute.
Yeah.
read it online.
Yeah.
and-
Well, and it is a little hard to understand, so at any point, and it's a lot of information, it's 56 pages. So-
And Ms. McCollum, I will say that these guys have, when, if there are certain things, certain items that you would like to go over and different, or just to have a general understanding of things since you're the new to the board, that anytime you want to set up a meeting with Austin, you're welcome to do that, and he can meet with you privately and answer any kind of questions that you would have. And he's done that, made that available to the other members as well.
All right.
He did that with Robert and I, and he's pretty good at it. So we
Okay.
appreciate him.
Yeah, well, I think everybody's doing a good job.
And Jeremy just
I think our
wanted-
staff's done a good job. I think the superintendents have done a great job, and I think the board's done a good job trying to maneuver through personnel season and listening to our concerns from the inside when we bring something up and advise you guys. So that's what we're paid to do, is advise the superintendent, advise the board. So we'll continue to try to do a good job. And if you have any questions after the meeting, feel free to shoot them to me. We'll try to take care of them in a timely manner.
All right, wonderful.
We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Mr.
Austin.
Lucas. Appreciate it. So that takes us to agenda item 4, where the superintendent recommends that the board approve the following finance terms: adoption of the Lincoln County Schools proposed budget and levy estimate for year 25-26 in compliance with the West Virginia Code 18-9B-6.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Cartwright makes the motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Mosteller seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
And that passes 5-0. And that takes us to agenda item 5, which is adjourned for the regular meeting of May the 27th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Burns,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. McComas. And the time is 6:22. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Now I'll call this meeting to order, again, of the Lincoln County Board of Education, May 27th, Tuesday. This is a meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the county school system business. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda item public comments. The meeting is being live streamed, and a video copy of the meeting will be on the board's website within 5 working days. As we determined in our last statutory meeting, roll call, we're all present today in person. Ms. McComas, Mr. Cartwright, myself, Mrs. Burns, and Mr. Mosteller. Is anyone signed up for public comment? And no, then that takes us to agenda item 4, instruction leadership, curriculum team, is that?
Ms. Shortridge is under the weather today, but I did give I gave everyone a copy of the professional development that teachers will be signing up for. On there, you have a schedule on the back. They're also paid $180 a day stipend in signing up for this. And at this point, right now, we're still early on. There's a link in there. We have over 100 signed up to attend this professional development, 100 of our staff members. So I think that's a real good showing at this point.
Now,
But
is
we have-
that, Mr. Barnett, outside of the usual staff development we have in the school?
Yes, this is our summer
This
academy.
is a summer, what are the dates? Oh, I see them now, I have
Yep.
the paper over it. And where will they be?
Lincoln
Here?
County High School.
Oh, okay, Lincoln County High School.
Yep.
You think we might wanna put a little something in the paper?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be good, cause some of them don't read our board minutes.
Yep. Okay.
All right, well.
And that's all I had at this point on this.
Okay. So, moving on to agenda item 5, consent. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the following consent agenda items. I got items A through E. I'll give the board a moment to review those.
Take a motion to approve item 5.
Motion by Mr. Cartwright,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. McComas. All in favor?
Aye.
And it passes 5-0. Then that takes us to agenda item 6, allowed and authorized payment of bills. That's on your attached sheet. I think it's white, yeah.
I make a motion we approve
Mr. Mosteller with the motion,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Cartwright. All in favor?
Aye.
And and that passes 5-0. Takes us to agenda item 7, which is personnel. That's your blue sheet. I'll give you a second to have some time to review that.
Make a motion to approve personnel.
Mr. Cartwright makes a motion,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. McComas. All in favor? Aye. That passes 5-0. And that takes us to agenda item 8, which is superintendent updates.
This evening, there's not, we just had a meeting last week, there's not a lot, nothing much has changed since last week. Just that we are continually monitoring any kind of enrollments, like for example, our pre-K numbers, whether or not they're going up, and what we need to do with staff. Just keep in mind, if the numbers justify, as long as before it's August 1, and the numbers justify it, we can rescind the last cuts, and everybody will go back to their original spots should they choose to do so. So that's where we are at this point.
Now, when did you say they take the enrollment in their classrooms so you'll know how many are there?
No, this will be the number of students in pre-K who have registered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it would only be the pre-K people?
Yes, that's what we're talking about right now.
We still on schedule with the Duval School?
We appear to, we're actually, it's going pretty well. If we can keep this weather, we're doing really well. The footers are about 90% done. You can see the walls on the gym have come up, the elevator shaft, the stairwell. Mr. Barnett at Principal at Duval got a funny phone call the other day, and just a concerned parent said that he didn't know how we're gonna put all those kids in that little building. He said, well, sir, that's just the gym. He said, oh, okay. So, but,
You should have told them 2 stories.
but it's going well. We've had very positive meetings with the general contractors. We've got another one tomorrow. No surprises, which I like, and things seems to be moving very quickly. And it's advantageous for them too. The quicker they can get out of there, the quicker they can move to another job.
Sure.
So it's advantageous for them as well. It's just we've got to get Mother Nature to cooperate with
Are we
us.
still looking, excuse me, November, December of 26?
November 26th of 26.
Okay.
So hoping, if all the planets line up, we may talk about at that point down the road. As it gets closer, we'll have some other discussions about perhaps extending the Christmas break for the Duval Midway students to be able to move in the beginning of the semester. in
So
the
how that
wintertime.
work? You have all your, your people at Duval and then all your teachers at Midway both, just packing up their stuff? I mean, is they gonna be doing everything on their own?
That's kind of how it works.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, now
We
let
will.
me ask you this, are we gonna have, I think we ought to have some kind of a little to-do for them.
There will be. We're gonna, once we get to where we can actually go on the site safely
Yeah.
and everything's out of the way, then we'll actually have a ribbon cutting and we'll
'Cause-
invite students from both places.
Yeah, and the teachers from both staffs, because they're so important, the kids and the teachers and the parents,
So once
to get together before they go.
Once we have the opportunity where the weather will cooperate with us and the site is safe,
Uh-huh,
then we'll take a look at that.
good.
Okay?
Maybe we can,
I was just gonna say, it's gonna be all new furniture and stuff, so they only need to take personal belongings.
Right.
and things
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. It'll just be, yeah.
What are we gonna do with all that old furniture? Give it to somebody else, or auction it off or something?
Sometimes we do that. Sometimes we'll do pallet things on gov deals. Like, for example, that's how the transportation department, they've got 3 pallets of obsolete parts right now. And they put them on we have a site called Gov Deals, and people actually bid on those and
somebody will want
purchase
them.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
do.
will.
We sold, Ms. Stone said that the last Gov Deals thing we did, we had parts that were just sitting there and different items that were of no good to us, and we got $5,000 for it.
God, Lord, yes,
So,
yeah.
and those kinds of things are, like I said earlier, those are the kinds of things that she does being proactive, which makes our fleet value increase.
Yes, and makes it a little easier on paying our bills, because we got a little
Yes.
money to look at forward
Correct.
to.
Yep. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Barnett.
Yes, sir.
Takes us to agenda item 9 for board member comments and requests for future meetings. If anybody has anything, I will just draw your attention that Robin has again provided you with a list for the 25-26 board meetings that will go forth next board meeting. So she's she provided this in the past, so make sure we just review that. The only thing really to make note of is we are sticking with the 6 PM time frame. That July 1st meeting, the reason that there's not a meeting at the, on like the 1st of July is because we have a meeting that Monday in June, so, that's really the only thing to, and we can always amend this later on in the school year. We've done that in the past. If something comes up in the holiday or we notice something, and we may have to, but as of right now, that's what the meeting agenda looks like for the 25-26.
Do we need to formally, or just do it the 30th?
No, that's next, that'll be
Okay.
next, meeting.
Okay.
The only other comment that I have, most people are probably aware, but I've got this invitation here from our seniors. Lincoln County's graduation is Monday, June the 2nd at 7 PM in Charleston. All board members are welcome to be there, so
In Charleston, where?
at, what do they call that? Is it still the?
Coliseum.
Yeah, is it called?
Yeah, it's,
Coliseum?
and then something just to bring
Convention
up,
Center, yeah.
speaking of that, I will probably do a countywide early dismissal of about an hour early dismissal on graduation day
So there's
to allow students
the
to get home
families.
and their families can get to Charleston for graduation.
Good.
Sounds good.
A lot of our seniors have siblings and
Yes,
younger siblings, so
yes.
that's good.
Any
I
other?
wish we could all go, but, you know, that'd be hard for everybody to go, but that would be so good, I think, for the seniors and their families.
Frank, have we got any more, have we been advised anything about the bills that were passed last legislative session as far as, like the cell phone bill?
No, I've gotten no
things like
guidance
that?
yet.
No
from
guidance on
there.
that?
No, not yet. We've gotten some guidance on the school mapping. And matter of fact, Mr. Cremines has a meeting, maybe later this week with a company that's what they do. They come in and do school mapping for the Department of Homeland Security. We just wanna make sure that, we don't wanna put something out there and it not be what Homeland Security wants us to have. We wanna make sure we have all of our ducks in a row before we take that to bid.
You have to submit something to them before we do that?
Yes.
I wish we all could go to that graduation. It means a lot to kids, that sometimes you just can't get everything together.
Well, all right, if we,
Mr. Wilson, I'd make a motion to enter executive session.
okay, Mr. Cartwright makes a motion that we enter executive session.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Mosteller. The time is 6:33. All in favor?
Aye.
And that passes 5-0, so we are now in executive session. Second by Mrs. Burns, and the time is 6:48. All in favor?
Aye.
And we have now returned to executives made. Takes us to agenda item 10, which is student discipline. In accordance with West Virginia Code 18A-5-1A and 61-7-2, and West Virginia Department of Education Policy 4373, students A and B shall be expelled from Lincoln County schools. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we ratify the student expulsion.
Mr. Mosteller makes the motion,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Cartwright. All in favor?
Aye.
And that passes 5-0, and it takes us to agenda item 11, which is adjourned until Tuesday, June the 3rd, 2025 at 6 PM at the center office.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Cartwright makes a motion,
I'll second.
seconded by Ms. Burns. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 5-0, and the time is 6:49.